What is going on, guys? I'm back on the mic today from Spectral Sound, and welcome to today's video. Now, this is a very exciting time because Rocket Powered Sound is about to release their brand new Serum pack called Elevated Bass for Serum. But what's even more exciting is that Shane is letting me give y'all a sneak peek at this pack. This pack consists of 100 presets, mainly bass presets. However, there are some other synth presets, like a bunch of wavetables, and 2 other bonus packs that I will be going over. He has released the demo for this pack, so there will be a link to that in the description, but I suggest you also watch this because I'm going to be going over some of the sounds that aren't in the demo, so it'd be good to stick around. Now, going through this pack, I'm hearing a lot of rhythm in these sounds. Like, I feel like this would be a really good pack for rhythm producers, but it doesn't have to be rhythm. Like, you could use this pack in any kind of dubstep, and you want to do hybrid trap. Hybrid trap would work really well for this. Just any genre that has really heavy electro bass sounds in it will work just fine. So I'm just going to go through some of my favorite presets, and I'll let you have a listen to them. This first one is an ARP. It's called Odyssey. Alright, we got a cool pattern going there along with some neat stuff right here. You can see it's just going up and down with the pitch, and there's little slides. It's really neat. Another thing I noticed about this pack is there's like all the macros for the basses and stuff are like maxed out. There's so much things you can do with these macros, and it's really cool that way because you can customize the sound to your track that you're making. Let's say I'm making a track and I want an ARP kind of like this. Except this ARP doesn't really fit the track that well. Well, if you use all of the macros and stuff, the modulation and stuff like that, you can kind of tweak it to your track and make it flow with the rest of the track. It doesn't sound, instead of you just grabbing presets, at random, trying to find a good one, it works really well to kind of let your track flow and sound cohesive. So I can show you what these macros do right here. As you can see, that's just adjusting the shape right there. However, this is not coming in. You can see the levels all the way down. I have to use this detail knob. We get that fundamental tone coming in right up top, and this is where the shape knob comes in. And this ARP is really cool. Like, I love having that overtone right there in there. I think that'd be really cool to just modulate in. Cool stuff. And then there's just the general modulation right here. Which just adjusts the sync of oscillator A. That's what it looks like, but that's really cool. You can change the kind of depth of your ARP, how like deep it is. That's super cool. And a rate knob right here. That could be a really cool effect as well. On to the next sound. This one is really interesting. Let's have a listen. That gives me an idea. But in all seriousness, this is actually a pretty dang cool patch. Let's look at the macros real quick. This one is Turn for Terror. Wow, it's just like slowly speeding up the pitch modulation. That's really fun. Need the reverb. And also, if you don't want it to be that harsh, you can lower the distortion right here. Along with widening it. Pretty cool stuff. The next sound I want to show you is this bass called Screed. This this uses a bandpass filter, as you can see, and there are a lot of those in here. This super cool stuff, and especially these, what they do with the macros here. You have like an EQ. There's the highs, the mids, and the lows, so you can really adjust it to how you want it to sound in your song. You know, if you're like me and you want to do one of these. There's also some modulation you can do to kind of change the timbre of the sound. And just kind of whatever different tone you want in the sound that you're using. The next one we got here is called Sleet. Ooh. I'm hearing slushy in this. What does this knob do? Ooh. I am digging that. That is cool. Let's see, we got some more stuff we can do with this. No flanger. That's taking away that weird sound we're getting, but why would you want to do that? Then we got some filter frequency here. We can adjust how kind of like deep the sound gets at the bottom there. You can hear the difference when I'm moving this knob. And then of course the reverb mix. If you're making like dubstep or something, you can probably mix the reverb in around, you know, a little over halfway about. Sounds pretty nice. But if you're making like hybrid trap or something, you're gonna want the reverb like all the way up. The next one we have is Vulpix. Now this is a really unique sound. We're clipping a lot here. I like it clipping. I love those harmonic basses that have that, instead of just being a big like blah, really sick bass, they've got that like tone and harmonic content. You can see it there sounds like there's like a seventh or something on top of this, which is really nice, and you can control that with the macros as well. You got this octave here. You can control where that top frequency is depending on where you want to play it on the keyboard. You can control the LFO speed here. If you don't want it to be that slow, you know. Then there's the high wave. Let's see what this does. Now it changes the tone of the high oscillator, which can also be really cool depending on what kind of song you've got. Then there's a low wave, which I'm assuming does the same thing except for the lower tone. That it does, very cool. The next one we have is called Beatdown. Ooh. What's a dubstep pack without a growl, am I right? We can modulate into pitch bend here. I love that pitch bend, that's awesome. I'm hearing a lot of virtual riot in this sound. Again, here's a reverb mix. We can even adjust the vocal right here. That sounds like it's kind of dipping down the midsection, some filter modulation going on there. We can make it fatter as it rises up right here, and the mid end gets a lot more crunchy. Alright, the next one we have is called Cry 2. That modulation though. That is awesome. Look how much stuff is going on. Jeez. We got a mod for the resonance. It just makes it a little sweepier at the beginning. Sounds like warm-ups or something. We can control the width right here. Just spreads out the sound a little bit, just fine-tuning right there. Then we have the wavetable modulation. Yeah, I'm definitely hearing warm-ups in this. You know how he like starts out the first 4 bars with a pattern going like, and then he moves on at the second part to something like this. It just like changes the sound a little bit to whatever the producer desires. This next one is called Digimon. Super cool thing about that is it just changes every time. Like, it won't be the same pattern every time. Some of these LFOs don't have trigger mode selected. It's on off, so each one will be just a little bit different. Like, listen to this. And now listen to this. They're different. It'll happen different every time. Of course, you can make it not happen differently every time. You can just go in and turn it from off to trigger, and then it'll trigger the same way every time. But I think it's really cool how it doesn't start out that way. You get a different thing each time you do it. And these loop basses are super fun, especially if you're a young producer, because it's so cool to pull up the sound and then be able to just hold one note and you have a super cool pattern. Like, all those young producers will just be like,
yeah! Look what I have created! I have made fire! I have made fire!
This next one I want to show y'all is called Fiso. Sounds like a Fiso rhythm bass. Now, if you watch Rocket Powered Sound's tutorials, then you'll know that he has made a video on Fiso basses before and how exactly to achieve them. But this particular Fiso bass I really like, because you have all these stuff right here where you can change what exactly it sounds like just changes it up a bit, and the timbre. But I think what affects the sound the best is this detune. The detune right now is at like 55, but now let me turn it down. You can hear it slowly gets higher. You can adjust how high that screech is. And then once you get towards the bottom, you have a super sick growl. So there's 2 sounds in here. You got the Fiso bass, and you got a really nice growl. Love it. This bass right here is called Titan. And this bass, I think, is a great display of how versatile these macros can make a sound. Because even if you don't really dig this sound, it's okay. Just mess around with the macros. You can get some awesome stuff. So I'm just going to play the sound, and you can see what I'm doing with these macros and listen to how it affects the sound. Awesome. Now we got some speech. That's just doing how high the vocal gets at the very top. Here's another vowel knob. And finally we have distortion right here. Now for those, if you're making like dubstep, just normal dubstep or something, then putting it like here, or like here would be fine. But if you're like one of those death step producers or something, you just like put it all the way up, like, God. Whew, let's just find a happy medium from that and that. Let's just put it somewhere in the middle here. Let's try there. There we are. Love it. Beautiful. I love that sound. So we went from this right here to this right here. I love sounds like that. Alright, that was a sneak peek at some of those basses. Now let's get on to the other synths. The first one I want to show you is actually an FX. It's called a chord riser. Now let's listen to this, what we got. That's pretty cool. I mean, we got some chords going up and down, but the fun part is this rise knob. So I'm just going to show you what these are, then I'll get to the rise. We have bass, which kind of just controls that bottom frequency, how loud that is. If you're playing it lower, then it's, you know, bass. I like to play it in like that kind of range. I think it sounds good. Then there's cutoff, which is just controlling their pluck and how deep that is. And then the width. So just a little bit of widening around there. I'm expecting that's with like a chorus or something like that. And then there's the rise. Let's listen to this. Awesome. The chords speed up, like everything, all the pitches get a lot higher, and then we even have white noise coming in, so it's like one big riser all together. And mixing that with this cutoff just sounds awesome. It's beautiful. I really like this preset. Alright, and this next one we got is a pad. Let's have a listen. Whoa. Sorry, I just got really zen right there. Man, this is so atmospheric. Super cool. Let's see what all these modulations do. Oh, I got some sync modulation. You can find an overtone in here. You just find a layer sound in there. That's awesome. Alright, let's go to the second mod. Affecting the timbre right there. Now let's try the third one. Doing the same thing as the last one, but with the other oscillator. That's really cool. Alright, I wonder if we turn them both up. Oh, it's like space strings or something. That's so cool. And then we have the drive. Just to fatten up that pad a lot. Now that is all I'm going to show you from the presets of that pack. However, there are those two other packs, those bonus packs that I mentioned earlier. So let me show you a few presets from those. This small pack is called Mutant Rhythm. So the one that I'm going to show you right now is called Chromatics. Let's have a listen. There's some really cool modulation there, and you can see all the stuff that they're doing with the macros here. Fun stuff. That's a neat sound. This next one is called Exterminate. Let's have a listen to this one. Oh. Oh, I love when they use like the flanger and the phaser and stuff to make it sound like it's talking, especially when you get that like whoa kind of snails feel. really deep and metallic. That is awesome. I love it. We have controls for the comb filter, voice, reverb, and hyper. Definitely like the comb filter. The voice really affects the high end a lot and how like screechy it is. Let's throw some reverb on there. And some dimension. Love it. Also, a lot of wavetables come with this pack. Now, I'm not going to spend a bunch of time on the wavetables. I'm just going to pick a few of my favorites to show you because there's so many wavetables in here that are super awesome. Like, I couldn't pick my favorites. There are just so many useful wavetables in here. So I'm just going to show you a few. This one is called Waver. Listen to this. That was on 4-bar modulation. That is a crazy wavetable right there. That's got a bunch of stuff going on. All you need to do is just move the wavetable position a little bit to select a little portion, and you've got a really good sound. And like, it's a huge wavetable. You can select any little portion you want. There's just a bunch of stuff you could do with that. This next one is a bit simpler. However, it is still really cool. It's called Digital Speech. Sounds like Hero Bust or something, but this is one of the few wavetables where I think it looks cooler from the two-dimensional view. Watch what it does. It's like there's two parts of the wavetable just merging together at that point and unmerging. It looks super cool, and this could be a really useful wavetable for a lot of unique sounds. Then next we have the Glitcheroo SQ. This is like the Glitcheroo, the original one, except it's squarified right there. And I personally like it squarified. I think it sounds pretty cool. Sounds kind of like AI. I don't know, like a squarified AI. I'm going to try to put some bend minus on this, see what that does. There's the signature massive squelchy AI sound. You know, when you put the bend minus on the AI, that sounds exactly like it. That's awesome. I love that. As for the second bonus pack I was talking about in the beginning, it is not a Serum pack. It is in fact a drum pack. He has put together a few drum samples right here into a small bonus pack. You have hi-hats and rides, you know, some cymbals to go. This is mainly like dubstep kind of sounds. However, it could be used for like, you know, drum and bass, you know, even some trap if you used it right. Like you could use some of these for trap. Have some hi-hats and rides which are pretty nice. We have some kicks. These are really fat kicks. And the snares are really big too. They're really thick, juicy snares. They sound pretty good. I'm not going to play them right here because we might have some trouble with people trying to rip them from the video, and I don't want to do that to Shane. So it's whatever. Like I said, you'll get them when you download the pack when he releases it, and it'll all be fine. In all honesty, this pack has some really unique sounds in it. Like, there's so many sounds in here that you can combine in so many different styles, not just like rhythm or hybrid trap or whatever. Like, you could use this in a bunch of different things, including like bass house, you know, whatever kinds of things, along with the synths and the basses and stuff. It's a really interesting pack, and whereas I can't say that I would use every single sound in here, that's me, like that's my style. There's so many other styles out there, and I'm sure one thing that I would think, oh, I don't think I'll use that, that's not that cool, somebody else would be like, oh, that's perfect, that's exactly what I want, and they'll make something new and original, and it'll be really awesome. Because in all honesty, isn't that the best music, the one that's new and original, when you find something that no one else has done before? And I think the guys from Rocket Powered Sound really nailed it with this pack. I highly suggest it. There is the download link for the demo. Like I said, he's going to be releasing the full pack very soon to you guys, so don't forget to grab that as well. I'm sure he will make some more videos on that. If you're not subscribed to Rocket Powered Sound, then you should be. But if not, the link to his channel is in the description. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you enjoyed this review, and as always, peace out.